What's up, everybody? This is a super insider episode of The Careful Boys, where submitted by Eric on our Discord for those patrons who have subscribed and pay our bills.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, guys.
We appreciate you. We couldn't do it without you
Come
guys.
inside our Discord and chat with us.
Come inside us. Eric asks, can we get more insider info on Junbi? Like, kind of like a check-in for Nick, but with like Joe and Bart and stuff. Like, what's up with Junbi? Not just Hawaii, maybe everything, plans, collabs, things that you were sort of talking about that you're not allowed to talk about. I don't know. It's insider. It's an insider episode.
Whatever you want.
Not my question. Submitted by Eric.
Check this out, guys. We just opened up our 13th store.
Really?
It's pretty cool, right?
Where at? Congrats.
That's a lot of stores.
You guys are fucking moguls. You guys are matcha moguls.
I could tell you all the locations. I gotta look it up though.
So where's this? Where's the latest one at?
West Covina.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Bro, how come we didn't know about that? That's in our neck of the woods. That's in my neck of the woods.
We're not gonna tell you these things.
We're finding out right now.
Did you guys have a grand opening already?
Yeah.
How long ago?
I wasn't there.
Really? You weren't there?
No, I wasn't there. It was like a couple weeks ago. No, it was a soft. No, sorry, it was a soft.
So you
opening.
guys haven't had a grand opening?
I don't think there was a grand opening, but it was like a friends and family and all that. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna go then because we like Junbi. We miss Junbi.
In Westminster?
West Covina's right there.
Fullerton.
Fullerton?
Yeah, I think Fullerton is
Damn,
it's close enough, right? Yeah.
Man, one day I hope for it to come to Garden Grove or Westminster.
Let's go to the West Covina one.
Just franchise it, Can.
Nope. Maybe.
Yeah, I don't. Man, it's pretty crazy. Like, just to think, what 2 years ago we had like 3 locations.
2 years ago?
That was fast.
Yeah. No, it was 2. No, hold on. What is that? 2023?
Rolling.
Yeah, we only had 3 or 5 locations, and then this year it just went ba 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 ba.
Wow.
Yeah.
So Los Angeles, 2, Irvine, San Francisco, Livermore, Portland, Waikiki, Princeton, Richardson, Katy. Some of the ones in development are Morn, LA, Seattle, San Diego, Mountain View, Bellevue, Austin, Boston. Oh, that rhymes. Austin, Boston, Costin, Salt Lake City.
All in development already?
And then
Yeah.
some of them are also in the pipeline, which is like we're going through, is Sacramento, Houston, Orlando, Kirkland.
Signature.
Kirkland? We're gonna be a Costco one.
Dang.
There's 2 in Seattle.
Wow.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
You guys are moguls.
You guys
The
are
world
like
too.
the McDonald's of matcha.
Maramacha, baby.
Community and people believing in what we're doing too, because we're doing it with franchisees, so it takes people believing in the movement.
How much it costs to get one of these?
Well, most of it is construction cost.
Okay.
So like you can generally get away with maybe anywhere from 100 to half a mil of upfront costs.
Damn.
But there's so many ways to do it. So like my buddy who does a lot of entertainment centers, and like he's got one at the Caesar's Palace and like all these like Irvine Spectrum. He's like, if you know your shit, like malls and all these places, they have a lot of money that they need to spend every year. And if you have a good enough concept, and if your store is guaranteed to bring foot traffic to that area, they'll build out your whole thing.
wow.
And there's so many things that I learned about creative financing things that you don't have to save up all your money and do it. So like, if you guys are really interested in opening up Junbi yourself, just go to jumbishop.com, check out the franchising link, and you think you need $1 million to get this stuff going, but dude, one of our franchisees, I think they took over a space and got it going for like 10-20 grand.
Wow. For $5.
Like, that's super cheap, right? But I mean, the rest of it was like, you got to get the fees, you got to buy the supplies.
Damn.
But that's the cheapest part, right? So like the fees and supplies, my build cost me $500,000.
Damn.
It was super expensive, but I'm a unique story.
Because it's Waikiki, right?
It's Waikiki. It was during COVID.
Oh.
So everybody in Hawaii during that time was paying a premium on construction.
Damn.
Also, we had to use union contractors because anybody that builds in Waikiki, there's
Specific center, right?
certain rules. Yeah. Yeah, there's just all kinds of stuff that I didn't know. But yeah, if you're not, in Beverly Hills or Waikiki, like most people get away. You can open up one with a couple $100,000, and a lot of the times, landlords will pay for certain parts of your build. So yeah, it cost me $500, but the landlord paid like $70,000 in plumbing.
Damn.
So there's so many things like that, right? And the best thing about a franchise, I think it's the perfect kind of starter for being your own boss. If like,
Because you have the blueprint of how.
exactly, dude.
Yep.
And I know a lot of people out there, like they're professionals making like, $100K a year, and they're like, I have all this money saved up and I don't want to work in corporate anymore. I think this is like the perfect kind of place for them to go, well, I want to be my own boss, but at the same time, I don't want to like try something and fail.
It's already proven.
A proven concept.
Yeah.
Getting like a brand behind it already.
Dude, it's
Yeah.
there's a whole system behind it, especially like from when I started versus now, because I made hella mistakes. I reported that back, and then now they readjusted everything.
It's refined.
Yeah. So now you're just taught how to like hire everybody, train everybody, make all the ingredients, all that, and then the marketing is done by corporate, right? So you don't have to like
That's a great setup.
yeah, you don't have to build a brand, basically. It's already there.
Yeah.
So, like, if a Junbi opens up in Chicago or whatever, we already have a fan base of people that's heard of it, that's probably visited when they came to LA or Hawaii. And a lot of our franchisees actually, they were vacationing in Hawaii, and then they saw our store, and then they said, dude, I want to bring this to San Francisco, to Hawaii, or whatever. I mean, to Seattle or whatever.
Dang.
Yeah, so it's pretty cool, man. I think that's kind of like one of the most liberating things, though, is seeing people finally take that leap of being their own boss and then taking control of their time and then being a part of the Junbi team. Because, like, for me, we're surrounded by creatives and entrepreneurs and people that already kind of been, I wouldn't say off the grid, but like self-employed, right? And then seeing the courage that like corporate folks have, and then they're like, all right, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna build something for myself. And then they have that time freedom and all that shit. I'm just like reliving it almost all over again, seeing them do it. Yeah.
And by the way, there is a coming soon Garden Grove.
Yes.
Oh, it's not Fullerton, it's Garden Grove.
face.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You didn't think we could do it?
Because Fullerton's not that far, but I never fucking go.
Yeah. I can't believe you're a hater like that.
It's funny how I don't
Support your friends,
I gotta be
Cam.
a lover.
Support your friends.
Yeah, and then people always like wonder like how we're involved in Junbi, because he's like, well, do you guys own the whole thing or like what is it? And then so, well, back in the day when we were, getting YouTube like going, I had this thought that it's not gonna last forever, and we don't have 401ks, so we got to start investing into different things. So like me, Bart, and a bunch of us, like David, so everybody that were creators at the time, we created a syndicate to start investing into things together.
How old were you guys at the time when you guys kind of had this mindset?
Maybe 30, around 30, right?
Let's go, Nick.
All right, we're gonna open up a Junbi, Miami. Okay.
Okay, Miami.
Sorry, continue.
What were you?
Syndicate.
Because we started before when it was Pop Bar. That's when we first started.
Yeah.
Pop bar.
Yeah, because our buddy that the founders of Junbi, they're from LA. They went to New York, and then they went to college there, and then they retired early, and then they built like a wedding photo booth company, and then so they came back to LA, and then they're like, I'm bored. I don't know what I'm gonna do. So then they bought this franchise, and then we were like, hey, you want any partners? Because maybe what we can do is invest, and then we have a team of influencers that are also investors. So we'll jumpstart whatever you guys get into. So then we became partners into that, and then, we did a grand opening. We had a huge line. And then from there, they started learning the whole franchise model. And they're like, I think we can do this without having to buy other people's brands. So they started doing pop-ups at Smorgasburg and start incubating different ideas.
That's when you guys were doing the Chichi Dang.
Yeah, we did Shrimp Daddy, all these different.
And Junbi, yeah.
Junbi, yeah. And at the time it was called Sip Matcha.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Damn, back in the day.
And then the several concepts that they had for like 4 years straight, they were number one of the pop-up. Like they had the biggest lines, everything. So they're like, you know what we're gonna do is we're gonna grab one of these, which is Sip Matcha at the time, and we're gonna convert our pop bar into that. Because what happened with pop bar is they expanded too quickly. They hired some cosmetic CEO to run it, and it wasn't being managed very well. And they caught wind, and they're like, I think it's not going to survive. So they're like, they took a little L, and then they just turned it into Sip Matcha, and they started testing at a physical location. Because it's so different from like having like a tent setup to like a real store that you have to be open every single day. And that's when they're like, all right, we're gonna work out all these issues here. And then once we can do that, maybe we can expand into like 5 stores. So from there, we opened up one by UCLA. And then the goal was just, hey, let's get 5 stores going. And then like we can all collect some like passive income and then be on our way. And then we had an opportunity to open up a store in Chinatown. You know, when they're building all those new apartments. Yeah. And then my buddy was like, what if we just franchise? Because instead of, you know, us putting, you know, $500,000 every single time to building these stores, why don't we just take a smaller piece of the pie and empower other people to expand the brand, and then they could be their own boss?
Yep.
And then he's like, the money that we have right now is only a couple $100,000. He goes, we could either open up another store, or we can use this for all the legal fees to get us through, to get the trademark, to do all the stuff to get us franchise ready, all that. And we took a vote and said, let's just franchise. Let's just go big with this. And then so this was what, like 2017, 18?
There, yeah.
Something like that.
Damn.
And then so from there, we were like, all right, let's go. And then, you know, they kept it going. We did our part, growing JK, like pushing everybody to all the stores. And then COVID hit. And that shit took a huge like hit. Cause like, you know, that's when nobody was going out. And then we're just like, how are we gonna pay everybody? We had to shut down the store for like 3-4 months. We pivoted to e-commerce, and then we just started selling matcha online, and that kind of saved us for a minute. When the stores opened up back up, nobody wanted to. All the people that were interested in franchising, nobody wanted to open.
Cause it's risky.
It was super risky, yeah. And that's when me and David were thinking about, we go to Hawaii like 4 times a year. Why don't we just open up a store there? And then I was like, that's my dream. Is like, I want to be surfing, and then like I walk into the shop and I'm like, good job, everybody. And then, you know,
Give everybody dollar bills.
very naive idea of like what it means to run a brick and mortar.
But now you know, that's like experience you can't like,
Yeah.
you know, you can't just buy that experience. You have to go through it and do the work and everything to know what it takes. And now when you do franchise to other people, it's like, oh, you know exactly how to, you know,
Yeah.
make it work.
And that was the biggest thing, is like, since we were already a part of a franchise,
Yeah.
on the investor level,
Yeah.
I wanted to be in part of the growth of, hey, why don't I go through it? And if a YouTuber can be successful running a shop with no experience,
Yep.
then I know we have a good system that we could teach other people
Yeah.
that have little
Yeah,
business
and
experience.
you also help refine the system by
Yeah.
testing it yourself. It's kind of like when you start a business and you're the CEO, but you're still on the ground working with everybody
Yeah.
else. That's like the best way to grow it, I think.
Which is why me and David opened up our own store in Hawaii.
Nice.
So it was really partly like, hey, let's also be a part of the testing, because at that time we were store 3 or 4. I think we were store 4 or something like that. It was LA, like Roland Heights, Princeton was
Oh, Princeton. Maybe
Princeton.
Dallas.
Yeah, and it was us or Dallas.
Yeah.
Yeah, or something like that.
Dude, from 4 stores to 13
Yeah.
is pretty crazy within that short period of time.
And that was pretty cool because we're actually the most successful one.
That's tight. Let's go.
Yeah.
The matcha.
Yeah, I know. And we had a rough couple of years.
Yeah.
But
That's fucking awesome, though.
yeah, dude, it costs a lot to run our shop. But we were like from almost not making rent to like surpassing a 7-figure like
Oh yeah.
mark really quick.
It's fucking sick.
So that was a huge lesson, but I'm really glad that we did it like that because I report back so much shit to the to corporate and they
Yeah.
can adjust everything.
Yeah.
Because the thing is like we're in a perfect position where we can go through the highest and the lowest and figure out what the pressure points are. So
see.
for example, like if they don't get like 1,000 people walking through, they don't know what the limits would be.
Oh, you'll never experience that.
So since we experienced that, we can figure out the most efficient system and then give it to them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so, and you're inclined to do it because you're an investor too. Because if it was just a random franchisee,
Yeah.
they wouldn't care as much as you would because you have a stake in it.
Right.
you know?
So because of that, I want the betterment of all, right?
Yeah.
And then so we got it down to where we can service about 60 orders per hour. Wow. So that means I can make so one order is not one drink.
Right.
On average, one order is about 2.5 and something else. So like let's say if someone comes in, it's like a drink for me and you, maybe a little soft serve, maybe some stickers, and maybe a t-shirt.
Yeah.
So then whatever happens there, that means boom. In 1 minute, you have to grab the merch, you have to make the couple of drinks, you have to get that and get that out.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then so figuring out that system was really fun.
Yeah, that is the work that
Yeah.
gets everything going. That's the fun part for sure.
But I think ultimately, since we're invested into the whole thing, plus we have our own store, it's been this really weird, like, where you care about everything about it. Yeah.
That's cool though. It's your baby.
Yeah. And right now, I think the focus is to build the Junbi family and then, like, inspiring other people to be, like, just to go out there and pursue their own destiny and build their own stores
Yeah.
and then, like, spread this around the nation.
Yeah, me and you, Nick.
All right.
Put it on a Junbi.
But we'll only do coffee only
Yeah.
and just see what happens. We're going to not
Only
follow.
coffee, just don't follow the rules.
We're not going to follow the rule. We're going to do it our own way.
We do have coffee there.
But not without
But they're gonna
matcha.
call it boba time.